A low-tier character recently beat the best player in the world. Don't worry, this isn't another video about Donkey Kong. Hey everyone, it's Aklo, and today I wanted to talk about a tournament that took place in early November called Luminosity Makes Moves Miami, or LMMMM. Yeah. More specifically, I wanted to discuss the set that was winners semifinals, in which for the first time ever, I was able to take down my bracket demon, Zain, who also happens to be the best Smash Bros. Melee player in the world. I just wanted to provide some context before we get into the rest of the video. I started working on this video before Don't Park on the Grass, which is why it focuses on my set from Miami. You should definitely check out my set versus Zain at Don't Park. I ended up beating him with Link again, which I honestly didn't expect to happen. Anyway, back to the video. Zain, more commonly known by his tag, Zain, is a Marth player who has numerous major tournament wins under his belt. He has had an extremely dominant 2024, winning 7 out of the 11 major tournaments he competed in using Marth. He was ranked number 1 on the Summer 2024 SSBM rank, and he is pretty much guaranteed to be rank 1 for 2024 by year's end. To put Zain's abilities into perspective for you, his lowest tournament placing this year was 5th out of 513 entrants. What's even crazier is that he has only lost sets to 5 players this entire year. These players being Amsa, Cody Schwab, Mango, and Jmook. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, and me. Upon hearing only the set result, one might first think, so yet another top Fox player made an upset in Melee, right? Well, kind of. It's true that I main Fox. However, I beat Zain using Link, a character that is commonly considered a low tier or a bad mid tier at best. Although I don't typically refer to tier lists for definitive answers, I'd like to take a look at Link's placement on Melee's 2 most recent official tier lists. Here we can see that Link was ranked as 18th best out of 26 characters. At first this might not sound all too bad, but when compared to Marth, who has never been ranked below top 5 in the game, it becomes clear how much better of a character Marth is than Link. To add insult to injury, the only time Link has ever been ranked above Marth on a Melee tier list was this April Fool's tier list from 2004.
April Fool's, jerk.
How much do these tier placements actually matter? Looking again at Melee's latest official tier list, Donkey Kong, who has multiple top 50 representatives, is ranked 16th. Yoshi, who is represented by a now top 5 player, is ranked 10th. And Link, who recently won a set versus the best player in the world, is ranked 18th. What the heck has been going on with Melee lately? Why are strange characters like DK and Link doing well all of a sudden? It turns out that a lot of our perception related to a character's viability was tied to representation alone. Many of these characters are much better than people once thought. Why do we see that now? The simple explanation is that top caliber competitors are now playing with and optimizing these characters. The general level of play has significantly increased in the past couple of years as well, as tools like Uncle Punch and Slippy provide top-level competitors with more opportunities to explore niche characters. Now, what makes these low and mid-tier characters different from top tiers? The reality is that although you can win with non-top tier characters, they have much more pronounced weaknesses. That said, a lot of these characters actually have great singular attributes. For the most part, finding success with a mid-tier means playing to your character's strengths. However, a more overlooked aspect of winning with mid-tiers is asking, how can I mitigate or compensate for my character's weaknesses? Let's examine this with a few case studies. We'll start with Donkey Kong. Within the past couple years, DK and Melee has experienced huge positive growth, not only in terms of popularity, but with regards to tournament results as well. One might even say we're living in a DK renaissance, although I'm not gonna say that. This DK trend is largely due to the optimization of DK's punish game. It turns out that Donkey Kong actually has one of the best punish games in Melee. Not only does he have amazing kill power, but he also has consistent setups into his kill moves. DK is also decent at edgeguarding, making his advantage state even stronger. Being the second heaviest character in the game also allows for great survivability, often living to very high percents before losing the stock. DK definitely struggles against certain characters, such as Sheik and Captain Falcon. Sheik is a very nimble character who can often outplay Donkey Kong in the neutral game. She can punish DK exceptionally well by using her down throw to chain grab and combo. Sheik is also one of the best characters in the game at edgeguarding DK, severely hindering his survivability. Captain Falcon does well against DK for similar reasons. He is the fastest character in the game, making it difficult for DK to catch him in neutral. DK's large hurt box and heavy weight allow Captain Falcon's combos and kill setups to work extra well. This results in very early kills, which once again reduces DK's survivability. Even with his weaknesses, however, DK is capable of winning these matchups by having a very optimized and simple punish game. In tandem with strong neutral play, players such as Junebug among others have proved that DK is a competent pick as a single main in large brackets, though it's admittedly tougher with him than it would be with a top tier character. Now let's look at the opposite end of the spectrum.
Okay.
Ness does have some standalone positive attributes. Double jump cancel allows for some tricky movement options, and some of his normals such as down air or up air are quite good. In some niche situations, such as versus Spaceys on FD, Ness actually has decent punish flowcharts. All that said, Ness's weaknesses are far too glaring to make him a useful character pick, even with a perfect matchup and stage. Ness has one of the worst recoveries in the game, poor attack and grab range, and overall struggles in neutral significantly in all top and high tier matchups. Though Ness may have some very niche uses, his inability to make up for his weaknesses renders him pretty useless in the modern melee meta. Okay, so how does Link compare to the rest of the melee cast? Is he useless like Ness? Is he a sleeper pick like Donkey Kong? Are we living in the Link renaissance? My professional opinion is that Link is not close to as good as Melee's top tiers, or even the high tiers. But Link does have some uses.
Yay!
The reality is that Link's disadvantages are pretty pronounced, and he doesn't have the tools to completely mitigate these against the whole cast of top tier demons. Why was I able to beat Zain using Link? Well, that's because
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better, I am better!
Sorry, where was I? It turns out that although Link isn't favored to win against Marth, he does much better against Marth than he does against other top tiers. Link's standalone tools aren't great, but there are situations where they interact in a beneficial way versus some top tiers, like Marth. Why is that? For simplicity's sake, let's break down this matchup into two segments, neutral and punish. Let's first look at the neutral game, or generally, how easily the characters can maneuver around each other and threaten each other positionally. Basically, how easily the characters can land a hit while also not getting hit. We'll first go over the advantages of Marth's neutral game in Melee in general. Marth is known to have one of the best neutral games in Melee. Why? His neutral revolves around his amazing dash dance, which is not only quick, but also contorts Marth's body and hurtbox, making it difficult to hit him with most characters. Another aspect of Marth's neutral game is something not very well known. Marth actually has a huge sword, which allows him to throw out long-range, safe pokes and aerials, some of which are very frame safe. Marth also has the largest non-tethered grab range in the game. Not only can he threaten grab from decently far away, making shielding against him scary, but he can also get great reversals by using ASDI down and crouch cancel into grab. Although Marth's neutral game is very strong, he does have some minor weaknesses. For example, Marth is slower out of shield compared to most top tiers, especially when facing backwards. Another disadvantage, though incredibly niche, is that Marth has a very slow item toss. Amongst the top tiers, this only really comes into play versus Peach when wanting to catch and throw turnips back at the Peach. However, keep this in mind as it is relevant for today's video. Now, let's do the same for Link. First, the positive aspects of Link's neutral game in Melee. Link is an odd character in Melee because he actually benefits from being a bit further away from his opponent. Melee doesn't have many true zoner archetypes amongst its top tier cast. Due to his kit of projectiles, Link is able to rack up damage without actually even going near his opponent at times. Link's neutral air is also a great tool up close. The move is known for being broken in the sense that Link can actually act while the Nair hitbox is still active, making it hard to challenge and punish. Link's sword range can also be difficult to deal with. When spaced, forward air is an especially good tool in the neutral game due to its large disjoint and minimal landing lag. Because Link is a heavyweight character, he's able to take advantage of tools like crouch cancel and ASDI down. As we'll soon see, these tools make Link's range especially useful. Link has some poor attributes that are detrimental to his neutral game. He is one of the slowest characters in the game, both in terms of run and jump speed. Link, like Marth, has weak out-of-shield options. This can be somewhat mitigated if Link is holding a bomb. Yay! But the bomb is timed, and of course, it's not feasible to always have one in hand. These weaknesses mean that with most top tiers, closing the space between you and Link means free damage, or at least strong shield pressure, which can in turn force a punishable defensive option. Okay, now that we've discussed the character's strengths and weaknesses in neutral, let's talk about interaction. How do these characters' neutral tools stack up against each other? First off, let's look at Link's use of projectiles versus Marth. Link's projectile game is quite effective in this matchup. By using projectiles from afar, Link is able to circumvent having to use his slow frame data and committal attacks head-to-head with Marth's dash dancing and non-committal pokes. This is awkward for Marth. His long range and dash dance game are so good versus Melee's top tiers. It's unusual for him to be the one trying to close distance. For the Marth player, the neutral boils down to, how can I close the space between me and the Link without overcommitting? Catching and throwing Link's bombs back at him doesn't really work either due to Marth's slow item toss. Another aspect of the neutral game is how Link's projectiles can force Marth to shield. We mentioned earlier that Marth has bad out-of-shield options. Things like returning boomerang or bombs can often force Marth into shield. To be clear, Link is not the best at capitalizing off this due to factors such as his extremely committal grab. However, it can be valuable to account for this once Marth has already closed the distance. We established that Link has a long range. Though generally shorter than Marth's range, there are times when Link can actually outrange Marth depending on what move each character used. Link is able to mitigate Marth's typical reach advantage in certain scenarios. Take a look at this clip where Zain approaches me with Marth's forward air. A notoriously huge, fast, and non-committal attack. A similar interaction occurs in this clip. Many characters, including Melee's top tiers, often face issues dealing with this type of interaction. However, due to Link's long range in tandem with crouch cancel and ASDI down, he can actually punish Marth for hitting him. Let me be clear, Marth is still very powerful in neutral versus Link. Because he has an overall longer range than Link, his normal attacks beat many of Link's reliable normal moves such as Link's Nair and Fair. Marth is overall still much quicker than Link in terms of both movement and attack speed. However, Link's success in neutral is directly related to playing to his aforementioned strengths, especially those related to his projectile game. Now that we've looked at the neutral game, let's talk about the punish game. Marth is generally accepted to have one of the most devastating punish games in the Melee cast. He has great combo starters, including guaranteed throw combos, chain grabs, and good launching tools such as up tilt, fair, up air, and many more. In addition to having good overall combos, Marth also has very effective combo finishers. Tipper forward smash can kill many characters, even heavyweights at relatively low percents, and more recent meta developments like pivoting make this much easier to line up.
What the fuck?
Tools like Tipper down air or aerial up B are great for finishing offstage opponents as well. Marth has great edgeguard capabilities. His disjointed hitboxes make his edgeguarding very safe. His sword often outright beats the recoveries of other characters, and his huge vertical recovery makes it feasible for him to go very deep off stage to finish edgeguards. In terms of disadvantages, a big negative aspect of Marth's punish game is that he is notorious for having Marthritis. Basically, once Marth's opponent is at a percent where he can't combo into kill attacks, it can be somewhat difficult for Marth to finish the stock. On to Link's punish game strengths. Link has a disjointed range that can make some juggles pretty effective. If he's able to launch his opponent into the air above him, he can effectively keep them up there with up air and up tilt, which are both disjointed. Link's bombs and boomerangs are great for setting up into combos. Despite them being relatively non-committal attacks at mid and long range, they can have pretty good return in terms of punish game. With the proper DI and setup, Link's bombs can be great for comboing into up air, forward air, and occasionally down air for a finisher. Link's down air and up B are his strongest kill moves. Although they are very committal and punishable, it is possible for Link to set up into these moves. Link's down throw and up throw are very effective combo tools against most characters. Like down air and up B, landing Link's grab is very difficult to land and is very punishable. However, Link can often use ASDI down or crouch cancel to land a grab, which leads to guaranteed throw follow-ups. What are Link's disadvantages in the punish game? While he has some ways of setting up kill attacks via his non-committal projectiles, These are susceptible to crouch cancel and ASDI down at most percents.
What the fuck?
Additionally, at a lot of ranges and with proper combo DI, Link is often too slow to follow up even if his projectiles do connect. Though Link is able to kill relatively early with down air, it is a very difficult attack to land and difficult to combo into. Link's other attacks, such as forward air, are deceptively weak. Okay, now how do these two characters' punish games interact with each other? Well, for one, Marthritis is particularly evident in the Link matchup. Link is a heavyweight character with a great recovery, making it difficult for Marth to net kills at high percent. Because of Link's great recovery, he's often able to DI off stage and avoid the Ken combo, choosing to recover it instead.
Oh my god, he's coming back, he's coming back, and he's back! He's back in the game!
Marth does not have guaranteed throw combos on Link like he does on most characters. This forces Marth to either have to tech chase Link off of forward throw and down throw, or choose to throw Link upward and try to juggle him, which can be difficult. In contrast, if Link is able to land his tether grab against Marth, he has guaranteed combo options in the form of up tilt, up air, back air, up B, you name it. Link's throw combos are generally effective versus other melee top tiers. However, I would argue that they work especially well on Marth due to Marth's weight and fall speed. Link can down throw combo Marth at lower percents, and even kill confirm at higher percents with up air. It is still somewhat difficult for Link to set up kill confirms versus Marth, especially if he DIs properly away on bombs and boomerangs. However, Link is able to edgeguard Marth much more efficiently than other characters. By forcing Marth to recover on stage, Link can essentially set up a guaranteed down air off the ledge, which can kill Marth at relatively low percents. To be clear, Marth's punish game is very effective against Link as well. With the proper setups, DI mix-ups, and spacing, Marth can often kill Link at relatively low percents too. In terms of edgeguards, Marth also has a lot of tools versus Link. I don't think that many people have quite mastered the edgeguard flowchart versus Link yet, but Marth's large aerials and ability to reach Link far off stage can make recovering for Link much more difficult than it would be versus other characters, in spite of his many recovery tools. So what's the verdict? Well, Link is not a true counter to Marth. In fact, I would argue that Fox probably does better overall. Zain and other Marths are just a lot more practiced versus Fox. That being said, using Link against Marth is much more forgiving than using Fox, in the sense that he doesn't get punished as hard. However, Link also does not hit Marth nearly as hard as Fox does. Though the spirit of Melee is rooted in optimization, the reality is that it's a game of mix-ups. Melee is full of surprises, and those surprises can lead to great returns if capitalized on properly. It's possible that many of Melee's other neglected characters might have niche uses in the modern meta as well. There are some players that make characters like Game & Watch, Mario, and Dr. Mario look like they have very potentially meta-relevant applications as well. The fun of Melee is that despite the game being over 20 years old, the meta is continually changing. New techniques, strategies, and characters are constantly being developed. As for the future of my Link, I intend to keep him as a dual main with my Fox. Though not an excellent character to solo main, I believe that in the right hands, he has many uses as a secondary character. That being said, the reason I tried to push myself with Link in the first place is because he's my favorite character in the game. At the end of the day, Melee is a game about exploration and expression. I personally don't think it will ever be fully solved. What are your thoughts on this era of mid-tier madness in Melee? Is this a good thing? A bad thing? Do you think we'll see any other rare characters start to shine? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. You can also support me by following me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram @NotAklo. Thank you all for watching.